Welcome into the I-80 Boys College Football Show. Chris, Alabama taking on Oklahoma. Rematch from last year where Oklahoma pulled off an upset, knocked Alabama out of the playoffs. Kind of ruined their whole season there, if you will. Chris, tell me a little bit about Oklahoma.
Yeah, you guys know I'm pretty high on Oklahoma this year. Pretty impressive season thus far. They are 7-2 on the year. That only loss, obviously, was the Texas loss, and then the Ole Miss team a couple weeks prior. Now they're coming off a bye, and the last time we saw Oklahoma play, they beat Tennessee right on the road in Knoxville. That was a pretty damn good football game. I was actually very impressed with Oklahoma in that one. They put up 33 points. They won 33-27. The issue this year has kind of been the offense, right? Quarterback John Mateer. I understand the hand injury. I get all of that. And like I said, he's got to play better. He is getting better each and every week, but he's going to have to play really freaking good in this one, as we know. Mateer actually sits 10th in the SEC in passing yards, 14th in touchdown passes with 8 on the year. You'd like to see that number climb a little bit. Where he can hurt you, though, Christian, and you know this as well, is with his legs. He's got over 300 yards on the ground, 6 touchdowns this season. Running back Xavier Robinson, he's emerged of late. Versus Tennessee, he had 16 carries, 115 yards, so not bad there. That's averaging actually over 7 yards a carry. Like I said, OU is going to have to get this ground game going. It's been an issue all year. I do believe, though, the last 3 games they've gone over the 100-yard mark, which is good for them. The wide receiver room, I brag about him all the time. Wide receiver Isaiah Centena, he's putting up nice numbers this year. Deion Burks, as we know, is a damn good receiver. I don't know if Keontae Lewis is coming back this game. Maybe Oklahoma fans can let us know down in the comments. But he is a very talented wide receiver as well. So as far as the ranks go real quickly here, guys, OU ranks 75th in total offense. They're 90th in rushing offense, middle of the pack when it comes to passing yards per game. OU averages just shy of 30 points per game. Like I said, we'll see if they can put up some points against this Bama defense here. Speaking of defense, so OU, this is where they hang their hat, right? We know that. OU sits 7th in the country in total defense. They're 22nd in passing yards allowed. They are awesome against the run. They sit 4th in the country there. OU, that defense is tough. They only give up 14.1 points per game. That's 7th best in the nation. So they're going to have their hands here. They're going to have their hands full, though, against this Bama team. Christian, you'll let me know.
Yeah, Chris, sorry there. I was just kind of like Oklahoma before they played Tennessee. You know, I was a little stagnant there on the offense. So let's take a look here. Yeah. Look, Chris, Bama has one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, right? Ty Simpson out here looking like he could win the Heisman, could potentially be a first overall draft pick, you know, whenever he comes out, if he keeps this up. Keeps lightening defenses up. Look, I watched that LSU game last week, and I came away impressed with his ability to throw the football. The thing he has, Chris, and this is, there's stats for it, there's all this stuff, but it seems like when the game matters most, when the game's on the line, whether it be a third down, got to have it situation, that's where this kid comes in and delivers his best performances. You go back to the Georgia game, like they couldn't do anything on first or second down, but by God, you got him into third down and he just would light them up. He would get, if they needed 5 yards, he'd get them 7. If they needed 15, he'd get them 17. Like he just kept lighting Georgia up, and he just keeps lighting teams up, right? Look, I think OU has a really solid defense, but whenever they play really good offenses, they seem to struggle a little bit. Like we said, going back to the Tennessee game, they forced Joey Aguilar to turn the ball over a lot, which is why I think they won. But Tennessee also, if you watch that game, Tennessee was able to move the ball up and down the field. They outgained them yardage wise. Box score looks really weird. Let Tennessee back in the game there a little bit when it mattered. Joey Aguilar had a couple interceptions there where it was kind of like, what are you doing? Now, there was one play where, I think he fumbled the ball, and then it was R. Mason Thomas picked it up from OU and ran that thing back. Like, that's going to happen, but just the amount of turnovers Tennessee had, you just can't do. The good thing if you're Alabama is they don't really turn the ball over like that. So, we'll see. Here's the thing, right? Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, and hell, even Isaiah Horton, they're a different breed when it comes to receivers, right? I think the O-line's playing a lot better. Getting Jam Miller back, when against Georgia and this far has kind of been a lot better for their offense. They're actually able to run the ball with them. For me, Chris, they need to just keep doing what they're doing offensively. Like I said earlier, avoid turning the football over if you're playing OU. That's one way you're going to leave them in this game. On defense, Alabama creeped up to 18th in total defense. I believe Kane Womack has them ready when it matters. That's where they seem to deliver the most when they're playing like some nobody school. Not nobody school, but, like South Carolina, somebody they should blow out by 1,000,000 points. They kind of let their foot off the brakes, but understandable. I'm most impressed with Bama's ability to put the clamps on teams when they get in the red zone. Going back to watching that LSU game, Alabama was holding them tight when it came to the red zone. I remember early in the season against Georgia, Chris, you remember it too, when Georgia tried to run throw that ball out there to Cash Jones and he didn't make that catch. 4th down inside the red zone. So Bama's ability to come up and make stops in the red zone, critical. There were times last week, though, against LSU where LSU had an opportunity to have big plays, but they kept they literally just kept dropping wide open passes where guys would be open. There wouldn't be anybody within 5-10 yards of somebody. They just dropped the ball. There'd be other times where Garrett Nussmeier would roll, and he would roll right into the pressure, you know what I mean, and just get sacked and lose 15 yards in a got-to-have-it situation. So LSU made a lot of mistakes that Oklahoma cannot afford to do in this game, if you were going to want to have a shot to win. All right. Also, I want to say this, and then I'll shut up. OU has been uninspiring offensively up until they played Tennessee. Okay, after Mateer got hurt. That stretch there, they've been kind of But I'm going to say this. They unlocked something against Tennessee. I don't know if it's Tennessee's defense was just really bad. We knew that going into that game. Or is it Mateer and them have finally gotten their swagger back? I don't know. This is going to kind of tell me a little bit more about them here, Chris. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm going to get into my score prediction, Christian, here real quickly. You did a good job there with Bama. I'm with you here. This is a tough game to predict. Like, as a fan of football in general, I don't have any skin in this game, but like, I'm just excited to see a good football game. This will be a good football game. There's no doubt about it. Both defenses are pretty good. I know people were sleeping on Alabama's defense after that Florida State game. They have gotten better each and every week. We know OU's defense is elite. You said it, though. Alabama's really stingy inside the red zone, though. They don't let a lot of people score. I think they're like 6th best in the country in red zone defense. So as far as my prediction here goes, I'm going to go with Alabama here. I know that's a square take. Bama's really good at home. I get that. I think everybody does. But I'm not sold on OU's offense completely to pull this upset off. I'm just not. They can't run the football. Bama don't run the football worth of shit either. They've really struggled this year running the ball as well. But I like Ty Simpson, what he can do through the air. Like I said, I think this will be a relatively low-scoring game. I have Oklahoma 17, Alabama 24. Christian, what's your thoughts on this one?
Man, Ned Flanders' mustache strikes again. Give me Oklahoma 17, Alabama 27. Close, but no cigar.